Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Nutrition Health Connection Show. Today it's all about we're recovering from Christmas shopping and holiday festivities, which were awesome, but we need to pump up the energy again. So we're going to share with you how today.
Welcome to the Nutrition Health Connection Show with Becky Mulcahy and Cindy Phillippe, where we share with you valuable secrets, tips, and the latest discoveries for your true health choices.
Okay. Let's see. Hi, I'm Becky Mulcahy.
And I'm Cindy Phillippe. Welcome, everybody.
To have you back again. We're getting back in the swing of things in January. We've got a great lineup of shows. Super excited about that. And today's show is all about energy. And it's one of the things that people complain about the most. They don't have enough energy. We're busy, like, little rats in a maze and doing all our stuff. And so women in particular are very excellent multitaskers, and they often ignore their fatigue, and that can spiral down into more challenges. So today we have some awesome slides we're going to go through and share with you guys some reasons, some remedies, and some help.
I will share my screen, go into the vortex, and come out into the slideshow. Okay, are you seeing it, Becky?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, great. Lots of stuff on our agenda today. Just a few energy reducers, energy enhancers, chronic fatigue, adrenal fatigue, the role of your digestive system, how to combat fatigue, and we want to give a special thanks to the Women to Women site, and the link is there for you, www.womentowomen.com, for a lot of the information in this presentation. Their site was very informative, so we really,
she's fabulous.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. This is just a quick list. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you a quick list of energy reducers and energy enhancers, and then we'll get down to the nitty-gritty, and Becky and I'll discuss a lot more in the detail. But there's a lot of energy reducers out there, and you guys are probably familiar with a lot of them. And at the top of the list is stress. I think most of us are familiar with that. Lack of quality sleep, illness, injury, and trauma, nutritional deficiency, particularly B12, but there's a lot of other.
Magnesium, yeah, it's big.
Yeah, magnesium's really important. Cold and harsh working conditions. I can relate to that today because we have a really nasty cold front coming in today, and we got nasty wind chills out there and frostbite potential and all kinds of fun stuff. I wouldn't want to be somebody that works out in that every day, that's for sure. Depression, anemia, dehydration, seasonal affective disorder, and insufficient intake of magnesium. And things that can help, and again we'll go through this in a lot more detail, sleep, cellular nutrition, regular exercise, yoga, meditation, music therapy. These all work on both the physical and the mental energy levels, which are important. They're not mutually exclusive. They work together.
Exactly.
So chronic fatigue. You want to talk about chronic fatigue, Becky?
Yes, that's when it gets a little bit more extreme. When you spiral down for a longer time, it can turn into chronic fatigue. That's a little harder to remedy. Again, if you get your cellular nutrition, it helps with all of this chain reaction of that downward spiral. Adrenal fatigue is a very, very big one. It's under-recognized a lot of times, but it's very, very critical to your energy levels and quality of life, being able to function well. Once you get too deficient in your nutrition and the cells are not working at all well, it becomes more difficult to correct it. Of course, like anything that goes to an extreme farther, it's easier to do it sooner. Once your adrenals become exhausted, The adrenal fatigue and insulin resistance can develop simultaneously, and the cellular nutrition, the 90 nutrients everybody needs every day, can correct these things.
Yeah, that's so important. Because the body needs nutrition at the cellular level.
Mm-hmm.
And coffee, soda, and sugary snacks can provide you with a jolt of energy, but as you probably know, you crash later.
Mm-hmm.
And high stress levels lead to nutritional deficiencies. They deplete your body of the nutrition. And over time, those cells become unable to absorb nutrients in the normal way, which is, of course, very bad. And it can cause your body to excrete the essential amino acids, the minerals, and the other micronutrients that you really, really need.
Mm-hmm. So you need highly bioavailable and really complete nutrition to overcome these things. And there is a big gluten intolerance component to this, again, like we keep hearing over and over with other things. If you stop the 10 bad foods, which we've done a previous show on that, you can look at that on our roster, stop the 10 bad foods and get your very high quality, highly bioavailable nutrition, it can start reversing the cycle back towards health for you.
Yeah, cells are little energy factories when they're fed correctly. So the nutrition is just vitally important for your cells to be able to function. That's why we talk a lot about cellular health, because yes, people talk about what your body needs, but when it comes down to it, it's the cells that are doing all the work, and you have to understand how the cells function and what the cells need, and that's the 90 essential nutrients, so that they can be functioning at optimal levels all the time. And one other important thing, of course, is your fluid intake.
And ironically, most people run dehydrated when nobody's drinking enough water, and it needs to be clean water, preferably structured water. And it's very common that we're dehydrated, and that affects you can get bad effects like less mental clarity and short-term memory impacted with 2% under intake of water. That's crazy low. So it's very important.
Yeah,
very common.
I hadn't heard that before. That's kind of mind-boggling.
And by the time you feel thirsty, you're already dehydrated. You shouldn't actually feel thirsty. Everybody needs, they say 6 to 8 ounce glasses a day. But if you're feeling thirsty, you need more than that if you're active, if you're out in the cold. And ironically, the water helps you maintain your body temperature, either hot or cold. It helps you regulate your body temperature when it's harsher conditions like it is here. You're having freezing temperatures there in Kentucky. I know up here, it's all about, we're just flooding and landslides, and it's just mudslides. It's a mess. So it helps when the conditions are harsher like that too, to help you maintain your warmth levels.
And something else that I wasn't aware of so much was that the coffee and soda actually lead to a loss of more fluid than they contribute. So you're not doing your bodies any favor fluid-wise if all you're drinking is soda and coffee all day.
Right. Yeah. They're actually diuretics, and they leach out, not only some of the fluid, but some of the other essential nutrients with that. And so, soda in particular is very damaging. In a lot of ways, it's an anti-nutrient kind of drink. And there's way, way better things on the market for you that actually will add nutrition, like the pollen burst and rebound. You don't need to drink the soda. You're going to get a great flavor, but also add nutrition at the same time in the energy. It's awesome.
Right. Yeah, and to add to that, when you perspire, I mean, it's not only losing fluids from diuretics like coffee and soda, caffeine, but when you perspire, so if you work out a lot, you're losing not only the water, but all 60 essential minerals.
Right.
And Gatorade doesn't replenish those. That's
Right.
why, Rebound is such a wonderful product. It's replenishing the fluids and all your essential minerals.
And they work great. I love them. I love
Yeah.
both of them. I really like Polyburst, and it's got like 157 nutrients, which are different ones. And it lasts like the 5-hour energy drinks, but it's all nutrition. It's awesome. So no need to drink that stuff that's harmful to you.
Exactly. Now, Becky had mentioned magnesium. Magnesium is needed for more than 300 biochemical reactions in your body, including the breakdown of glucose into energy. So it's critical for energy production. If you have a shortage of magnesium in your diet, it can cause higher heart rates and increased oxygen needs for physical tasks, and that will wear you out some more. So the recommended daily intake is 300 milligrams for women and 350 milligrams for men. And you can get that excuse me, by eating a handful of almonds, hazelnuts, or cashews, or eat more fish, especially halibut. That's what they recommend.
Yep, love halibut. That's awesome.
Yeah, especially when it's fresh. I didn't know how
Yep.
good halibut was until I went out and actually caught some in Alaska and ate it fresh, because my mom had always cooked it and way overcooked it, and I thought it was horrible.
Oh. It's like turkey. You could just dry it out so much. We're from Alaska, so we're spoiled that way. And halibut is great. It's awesome.
It's excellent, yes. Okay, another energy booster is physical activity. Inactivity can actually make you more tired. So you should have regular moderate exercise to help regulate your metabolism, get your heart rate up, get the blood flowing, and it also helps to tune up your circadian rhythms by purging the higher levels of stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline.
Super
And
important on that, yeah.
yeah, and the circadian rhythms, if you're not familiar with it, is your daily clock. When you have high energy, low energy, when you want to sleep. So you have a regular rhythm to your whole day, and if you mess that up, then you can have things like sleep issues, and we'll talk more about sleep here in a minute. But it's important to not mess up to your circadian rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the immune system. The immune response, if you're fighting a cold or something like that, it is physically taxing on your body, and you know that because when you get sick, you get really, really tired. So it's draining your body of energy. Also, chronic inflammation causes fatigue, which means something negative is going on in your body, and there's a lot of things that cause inflammation. So you need extra support after an illness, as well as during the illness, to get your immune system back up. And I think most people are aware now that antibiotics actually are detrimental to your digestive system, because they cause inflammation by upsetting the balance between the good and bad bacteria. That's why people take probiotics, is to keep those good bacteria in there. And a lot of us, I'm sure, have experienced when you take antibiotics, you end up with a yeast infection, and that's because your flora and fauna in your digestive system's been messed up, because the antibiotics don't know the difference between a good and bad bacteria. They're just killing bacteria. So the best way to keep that from happening is to take some type of probiotic every day while you're taking the antibiotics.
Absolutely. It's really important to recolonize with the good bacteria, and otherwise you're just going to keep recycling into illness. I mean, you hear about people all winter long, they get sick all the time, repeating. That's because they don't have any good bacteria to work for them now.
Yeah, critically important.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the digestive system. A little bit more about that. We mentioned it briefly. That's where food is converted into fuel for our cells. So it serves a very, very important function. Well, the digestive system serves a lot of important functions. It's actually the main part. Isn't it like 80% of our immune system is in the digestive system, Becky? Is that right?
I don't know what the exact percentage is, but it's critically high. Yeah, of course.
So digestive health is just, well, it's just like what Becky was saying about if you don't keep the good biologics in your digestive system, you'll just keep getting sick and getting sick and getting sick. And people wonder why, man, I just can't quite kick something. Well, maybe your digestive tract is out of whack, and you need to get some good probiotics in it. And I'm not sure, have you ever read anything on like yogurt? A lot of people eat yogurt, but yogurt can have a lot of sugar in it. So in some ways that's a bit detrimental, isn't it?
Right. And you know, the yogurts are over promised and pretty much undelivered. They're not as good as just a high quality probiotic that you can take. The sugar feeds the bad bacteria, and so you don't really want the sugar at all. There is good high quality yogurts that have honey or just fruit in them, and that would be better, but you don't need to have any of the kinds of sugar or yogurt for that. You can just take a good supplement for that that's going to be highly bioavailable.
I know somebody that used to make their own yogurt too, and so if you make it at home and don't put sugar in it, you can control that as well. Other destroyers of the friendly flora are parasites, yeast overgrowth. We talked about the antibiotics. Insufficient fiber, which is a favorite food of them. High sugar diets feed the unfriendly bacteria, like Becky just mentioned, and the yeast, and causes inflammation. So sugar is just really bad for your digestive system. The good thing to do for your digestive system is to clear it out with an elimination diet or a detoxing type of cleanse. And of course, we were just talking about you need to add back the friendly bacteria with probiotic supplements.
Exactly. And we have, as a special thing for you guys, on the 28th this month, we've got Dr. Luis Ariaza on our show again, which I'm so thrilled about. And it's going to be all about the detoxing. He's got an entire line called True to Life that are crazy high quality, and they alkalinize your body. As we know, that's super health inducing. The cancer cells in that, they want to grow in the acidic side. And so to alkalinize is very important. And he'll be here on the 28th to go over detoxing. And he's actually starting a whole series on brain detoxing, which will be super important too. We'll go over that here in a few minutes.
Yeah, that's going to be really awesome.
Yeah.
We're excited about that.
He's awesome too.
Now, another thing that causes problems is food allergies and sensitivities. And they can cause immune reaction and imbalances in the colonies of the flora and fauna in your intestines. And that causes your body to have to work overtime to handle issues. It just stresses out the system. And food sensitivities have been known to trigger chemical sensitivities. So that's chemical sensitivities add to the stress.
Absolutely. It's getting more and more toxic with the sprays that they're spraying on our crops and the pollution that's around. So you're seeing more about the food sensitivities and multiple chemical sensitivities.
Now there's several common food allergies. Gluten is out there a lot right now. Soy, dairy, corn, nightshades, which of course are the tomatoes, potatoes, and eggplants. and you've probably heard of leaky gut syndrome. That occurs when poorly metabolized food proteins are able to find their way into the bloodstream, which can set off an immune reaction and leads to feelings of being tired, foggy, and achy. When your gut gets damaged, and we talked about that in the 10 bad foods, gluten is one of the big things that damages your gut. It can't patrol what's going into your bloodstream as it would if it were healthy, because that, again, it's like we were talking about it being a major part of your immune system. That patrolling that it does of items that shouldn't be in your bloodstream is critical to keep you healthy and to keep you from having items that get in there to cause inflammation or sensitivities or allergic responses. And so if you've got any digestive issues, and one of them being leaky gut, you're not protecting your cells, your bloodstream and your cells from some of the stuff in what we ingest that your body is harmful to your body. So
yeah, it gets directly into your bloodstream and causes inflammation in your body. It's not a good cycle. It's not the one that you want to be in.
No, it's very, very bad for you. Okay, gluten sensitivity. Let's talk a little bit about that. It can cause fatigue, diarrhea, joint pain, amongst other things. And it's the lack of the single nucleotide polymorphisms that are supposed to metabolize the gluten efficiency. And I'll say that fast 10 times, huh?
I know, right? You've been really good with that.
Oh, dear. Anyway, the sensitivity that people have vary. And I don't know if they even know if everybody's sensitive or, to some extent or another. But we know that some people it doesn't bother so much, and in people, but it can bother people so much. It can be so severe. It can develop. Person can develop celiac disease, and celiac disease. Oh my heavens! I've got a friend who's got that, and she is so sensitive to gluten.
Yeah, just a speck. Just sets some people right off like a speck of gluten. If I were to touch a dinner roll and then touch her hand, she could possibly go into seizures. Oh
she has
God.
had that happen. She can't be around it at all.
Wow.
It's just amazing. So it's she can only go to certain restaurants that cater to gluten-free. It's just a horrible problem.
Mm-hmm.
And of course there are solutions for that, because the reason that people have celiac disease is because of the sensitivity to gluten. So you've got to cut the gluten out of the body. You got to cut the gluten out of your diet, and then you've got to take all the nutrients that your body needs to heal the gut, and that's the way out of it. But if you want to find out, and this is the best suggestion, if you are sensitive to gluten and need to eliminate it from your diet, is to test yourself. Take 2 weeks and don't eat anything with gluten in it, and then go back on gluten and see how you feel. Did you feel better when you weren't eating gluten? And then did you feel bad again after, or start feeling bad after you put it back in your diet? So you can test yourself and find out, if you need to or not. It's highly recommended to take gluten out of your diet, but it's not always real practical, because it's everywhere in restaurants and in so many things that we eat. So it's a challenge to remove it.
It is everywhere. But you are seeing more and more recipes and avenues of access to breads and things that don't have gluten anymore. And a lot of people are at least doing gluten reduced, is what they call it, where you don't eat it, as much as is feasible. You might still get some of it. Some people can't tolerate any. And so, yeah, like Cindy said, test yourself and see. Do absolutely none of it for a couple weeks and then add it a little bit back and see what your reaction to that is. It might be pretty dramatic.
Right. That's the best thing to do. Okay, our adrenal glands, what are they? They are two glands they're about the size of a walnut, and they weigh less than a grape, and they sit on top of our kidneys. They manufacture, they're endocrine glands that manufacture and secrete steroid hormones such as cortisol, estrogen, and testosterone that are essential for life, health, and vitality. So these little guys are very, very important. They modulate the functioning of every tissue, organ, and gland in your body to maintain regular body functions during stress. And they're the ones that are responsible for the fight or flight response because they're releasing cortisol, adrenaline, and cortisone. They even affect the way you think and feel. So adrenal glands have a huge role in our bodily functions and how we are.
Important. And they've been under-recognized, but it's a very key component.
Exactly. Now, with a fast-paced, high-stress life, which a lot of us lead anymore, it is very common for our adrenals to get stuck on, which isn't good. Chronic and hidden emotional stress can overtax your adrenal glands, leading to chronic fatigue. You can do a simple saliva test that can monitor cortisol production throughout the day to find out if your adrenals are malfunctioning. And normal levels are highest in the morning and lowest at bedtime. And when you have chronic fatigue, this is often reversed, which is what creates the problem. You've got too much at night and you have a hard time going to sleep because high levels of cortisol at night mean you can't wind down. Your circadian rhythm and your production of melatonin are compromised. If you're not familiar with melatonin, that's something that people who can't sleep, it's a natural product that they can take and help them go to sleep at night. My husband uses it.
Yes, mine does too. It is helpful.
Yeah.
It's a natural thing your brain produces for you, and it generally decreases with age, so it's helpful.
Another one, just getting sidetracked here on trying to go to sleep at night, is L-tryptophan, which is the famous turkey component. Or there's some people I know who can't eat a turkey sandwich for lunch because it puts them to sleep. They're that sensitive to the L-tryptophan. So anyway, symptoms of adrenal fatigue: you get a second wind at night. Well, that's kind of scary to me because I've always been that way. I get my second wind at about 5 o'clock. So I tend to be a little bit more of a night owl than a morning person. Yeah. Another symptom is to sleep soundly for several hours and then wake up with your mind racing. Fortunately, I don't have that problem. Once I get to sleep, I'm usually good for the night. It can impair fertility, and it can intensify PMS. That's no fun. No. Okay, if your adrenal gland, when it's fatigued, can't produce enough DHEA, which I'll just say is the precursor to estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. And this causes a hormonal imbalance, which is not good, which is why they say it intensifies PMS symptoms and has a lot of effect on that. So insufficient DHEA contributes to fatigue, bone loss, not good, loss of muscle mass, depression, aching joints, decreased sex drive, and impaired immune function. There's the immune function again.
Mm-hmm. Critical.
Yes. Lost my little map. Okay, there we go. Particular issues for women are that women tend to be multitaskers.
Mm-hmm.
And they tend to ignore fatigue because we got all this stuff we got to get done. And heavy menstrual bleeding can contribute to anemia and fatigue. Now, since DHEA is crucial for maintaining estrogen levels, if you're having problems with your estrogen levels, instead of going right to supplemental estrogen or estrogen replacement programs, maybe you need to look at restoring your adrenal functions first and see if that fixes the problem before you have to go through hormone therapy. Sounds like a good alternative to me.
Yeah, no kidding. Start there.
Yeah, really. And of course, respect your body's need for rest during the menstrual cycle, which I know it's hard for women to do.
It is hard, but I do think it's important. And same with perimenopause. You know, I mean, in the olden days, you could, you know, slow down in the winter, slow down and, you know, seasonally. Now we're on such go gear year round, year after year, and there isn't that like dormancy or up and down cycle like there is in nature. And we need to maybe listen to our bodies more about that and try to get a little bit more rest when we're feeling like that. There's a reason that we're feeling like that.
Yes, exactly. Sleep. Importance of sleep.
Yes.
Do we get enough? I don't know.
No.
But it's really important for regulating the hormonal output. And we're supposed to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and school-age children need 8 to 10.
Yeah. And it needs to be the deep sleep, the REM sleep, which is, you know, obviously harder to come by. So there's a lot of things you can do with that. I think one of our slides is showing that, like keeping your room dark and, you know,
yeah, let's see. Oh, here's causes. Yeah, I think it's then. I thought, well, maybe it's further down. It's yeah.
Right in the bedroom.
Causes of poor sleep: sleep apnea, chronic pain, allergies, caffeine, alcohol, hot flashes and night sweats, uncomfortable beds, a snoring or thrashing partner. I have that. TV. I'm not sure why they listed TV. Do you know? I mean, is it having the TV on or?
Yeah, you know, they're electromagnetic waves. I don't know if they're referring to that. I haven't heard about that, but I think they're talking about, you know, like, I know my mom, she wants to go to bed. She wants to go to sleep with the TV on. Like, she turns the timer thing on and goes to sleep. So, you know, I don't know how great that is for you, or if you have a partner and they're trying to sleep and you're watching TV or vice versa, it's probably a challenge. I think they mean the light and noise. It's distracting, like having the computer in there. Somebody's on the computer.
Right. Yeah, probably. Because I know if I fall asleep in the recliner with the TV going, the TV's going to eventually wake me up. So, you know, but if I were in bed, I would just continue to sleep.
Yeah.
But then that's a good thing. It gets me out of the recliner and back to bed.
Well, you want the REM sleep, so you need the longer cycles, so better to go to bed.
Yeah, exactly. Ambient light in the room, you know, light can really affect your ability to be able to sleep. I know I worked a little anecdotal thing. We've mentioned Alaska before. I used to work up at Prudhoe Bay, and during the summer the sun doesn't set. So in order for people to sleep, all the rooms had these really thick, heavy blinds that were in tracks, so that when you pulled your blind down, if the lights weren't on in your room, it blackened the room. And so in order to kind of start calming down for the end of the day and to go to sleep, I'd close those up and just pretend it was dark outside, because that would just really help. But if you have blaring light, when I was home, I would work out in my yard until 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah, it's crazy how it's dark. I mean, just all day long in the winter, and it never gets dark in the summer. Especially farther north, and so it is kind of weird that way. And I'm somebody like that that's very sensitive to light. I don't like any light. And this home that we bought, we have a 6-foot skylight right over the bed, like right over the bed area in the master bedroom. I'm like, seriously, who would do that? It's great in a bathroom, a hallway, or something like that, but I've covered it. I've covered the whole thing because I don't like all that light streaming in.
Yeah, that is strange, because that's one place you don't want light. Mm-hmm. You want your room to be your bedroom should be on the west end of your house, so that you don't have the morning light coming in. Mm-hmm. So yeah, wow, that's strange. I've never heard of putting it in a bedroom before.
They have huge windows. I mean, there's huge windows all through this house, which is great. It's nice, but not over my bed. Really?
Yeah, really.
That's we got it all covered up. So.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, emotional causes of fatigue. There's a lot to this, and we're just going to hit the tip of the iceberg on this one.
Yeah, this is great information.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about this, Becky?
Sure. Yeah, this is actually an interest that Dr. Ariaza is going to touch on. The brain detoxing is about this. A lot of us have chatter that goes on constantly in our brains, and it's negative chatter, and that is damaging. That's actually damaging to us. There is very much emotional and psychological components to fatigue and depression, and these things are tied in together. And it's very, very common to have this negative chatter that goes on in your brain all the time. And so reducing or eliminating this negative chatter, which is brain detoxing, is very important, and it's getting more and more recognized that it's the subconscious mind, not the conscious mind, that controls what really happens with us. Our conscious mind is what we're aware of. We think that's what's in control. That's not what's in control. It's your subconscious mind that controls everything. That's the energy that you're putting out, and that's what truly you're utilizing to run your life, is your subconscious mind. So lately, more and more common, I know I was in a course about this, Cindy was, my brother was in a third, totally separate. We didn't know they were all the same at the same time, but the people in general, I think, are getting much more cognizant of the fact that you need to correlate your conscious mind with your subconscious mind, because you need to be aware of this programming that runs underneath all these currents that are actually controlling you and your environment. And it's very, very powerful. It's very interesting. And I know for myself, I'm very interested in The Secret, the program that you hear about, The Secret, with the energy that goes out and things come back to you, or what goes around comes around. You hear all these things like that. There's a reason for that stuff, because we're energy. We are literally energy. And this energy reverberates around, comes back to us, and it affects us. It's what affects us inside, and it's what affects our interactions with our families and in our workplace and everything else. And it's a very interesting, very critical component to reality, because so much of reality is perception. And so to be able to recognize the power that truly your subconscious is your powerhouse, and that you need to tap into it, and you can change it with certain brain waves and repetition, and there's certain different things, techniques that you can use for this. And it's very, very powerful, and it's very energizing, like we're talking about with this, psychological and emotional impact on your energy levels. To understand and synchronize those two brain functions is very, very energizing, and it makes you feel much more in alignment with yourself. and things are more under control because you understand what you're putting out and why things are coming back to you that you think, why is that happening? There's a lot to all that stuff. Super, super interesting. And again, Dr. Ariaza, that I'm such a fan of, that's going to be here on the 28th about the detax stuff, he's actually starting a 21-day course, right? 21-day course.
21-day. Mine.
About brain detoxing. It's about that same exact subject again. So people are recognizing the importance of it. They're wanting to explore it, and it's very fascinating. Very, very fascinating. We'll have more information for you guys coming on that for sure.
Right. If you want to kind of preview what that brain detox is about, what you need to do is look up the book and get a hold of it called Switch on Your Brain. It's by Carolyn Leaf, like in the tree leaf, L-E-A-F. And she talks about how the brain works, and she's the one that has developed the 21-day brain detox plan, and that's in this book. So great book.
Yeah.
I've got through the first 2 chapters, I think. I haven't gotten to the detox section yet. I'm looking forward to that.
Cool. Yeah.
You can actually Google it and Google Switch on Your Brain PDF, and you can get the PDF of the first 2 chapters. So you can read it. What I did was I downloaded that and I ordered the book. So while I was waiting for the book, I read the first 2 chapters.
Got a jump start. That's smart.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Perfect.
Okay, back to the emotional causes. Some of them are like self-criticism, despair, anger, grief, shame, fear. All those negative emotions actually cause fatigue. So that's why it's so important to change your mind around. So how do you reduce the negative chatter? You do positive affirmations, meditation, the brain detoxing we were talking about. Any type of exercise or activity that is positive thought generating. There's just a lot of stuff out there. I'm sure there's a lot of books on it. All the top leaders that I've talked to in the marketing industry all read and teach the positive thinking, because it is critical if you want to be successful at what you're doing.
It is critical, and it's more easy to interact with people that are being more positive, and it goes around and comes around easier that way. But they do say, you can't just say by rote a positive affirmation, like read it, and you need the emotional connection to what you're saying, that you need to believe it and really feel the emotion of it. That's what sinks down into your subconscious mind, and that's what makes the difference. That's what will change these things for you. There's a lot. It's really quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I've been working on positive affirmations, or working with them for over a year.
I'm loving it.
They're powerful. They really are. And again, like Becky was saying, it's not powerful to just write one down. You have to think it, feel it, touch it, sense it, smell it. Yeah, involve your senses. Get emotional about it. Imagine yourself there. You have to place yourself in that positive place. So there's a lot to it, but I don't want to make it sound hard. It's just that it's something that you have to put some effort into, but it's very, very rewarding.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's really fascinating. We'll definitely be touching on and off on that all through 2015. It's super big in Cindy's mind and mine. We really like that, and we think it's extremely powerful, and we're going to share more of that stuff with you guys. Yay! That'll be cool.
Yes, it will. Now, if you try a lot of this stuff to improve your fatigue, or to lessen your fatigue, you may have chronic fatigue syndrome. And chronic fatigue syndrome usually comes around suddenly, and is related to a stressful experience. And it's defined as having chronic fatigue for 6 months or longer, unrelated to any known medical conditions, and that you have 4 or more of the following conditions: sore throat, tender lymph nodes, muscle pain, diffuse and migratory multi-joint pain without swelling or redness, headaches of a new type, pattern, or severity, unrestorative sleep, or aching and listlessness lasting more than 24 hours after exertion. So if you're experiencing 4 of those, plus 6 months or longer of fatigue, then you may have the chronic fatigue syndrome. The CDC has estimated that over 500,000 Americans suffer with CFS. Often it's accompanied with fibromyalgia and multiple chemical sensitivities. And it's more common in women, and it affects Black women more than white or Asian women. It may be the result, these are some theories of what it might be the result of. It may be the result of so much stress that the mitochondria have gotten damaged. If you're not familiar with mitochondria, they're the little power plants that are inside every cell. So they're critical to energy. There may be a breakdown in the central nervous system, especially with the hypothalamus, the pituitary, and or the adrenal glands, which we talked about earlier. Chronic low blood pressure may contribute to it. So the causes are not really clear, and it may be more of a complicated combination of these or other factors. But for some reason, your body has gotten stressed, and it has gotten stressed for so long that it can't snap itself out of it very readily. And so you don't want to get there. That's why you want to get your nutrition, get your sleep, drink your water, all the things we've been talking about.
Exactly.
Now, here's our last 2 slides, I think, and these are methods of fighting fatigue. Do you want to talk about some of these, Becky?
This is what the Women to Women site was recommending. I haven't personally checked into this one that much. It's Hoffman-Quadrinity process. It's endfatigue.com. You can check into that. She highly recommends that, and I really like her work from what I've seen, and so it'd be worth checking into. Emotional freedom techniques, we've all heard about that, I'm sure, for years now. That's been around, and people find that extremely powerful. It's supposed to be very, very effective. And also rituals at bedtime. If you do rituals, for those of you that are parents, you know that when you're putting your kids down, if you do the same routine every night, they're ready. I mean, they know that that's what's coming next and next and next, and that's very helpful and valuable. Your own mind, again, your subconscious, if you repeat that, that's what you do, that's what you expect, and you know what's coming next and next, that's the downward spiral to go into bed and relaxing. And so rituals like that are very helpful. Again, if you get enough rest, you shouldn't have to turn the alarm clock on 7 times. You should be able to get up from after 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and so when the alarm clock goes off, you can get up when you're supposed to be able to get up. So, and also sleep apnea, which is oxygen deprivation at night, very damaging, very much associated with increased strokes and heart attacks and brain fogginess and brain dysfunction of all kinds. As you can imagine, you're sleep deprived, you're oxygen deprived and sleep deprived, no doubt. So very important. You might want to get checked for that too. And I understand there is sleep apnea equipment. That's not those ginormous gas mask things that they used to do. Now there's other alternative ways to get oxygen like that. So you might want to check into some things that you could do for yourself if that's an issue.
Yeah. So if you're hitting the snooze button numerous times, then you're not getting enough sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Need to go to bed a little earlier.
Yeah. In a dark room.
Yeah, exactly. You got it. Some other suggestions. Don't eat after 7 p.m. and limit your caffeine and alcohol consumption. 1 ounce of alcohol can decrease REM sleep by 1 hour. That's pretty amazing. I'd not heard that one before.
Well, people think alcohol is a depressant because it helps them relax in social situations, but that's really a stimulant. And so it steers them up and messes up, their ability to relax for real and to go to sleep at night. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, if you've ever had a hangover, you wake up in the morning and your heart is racing and, your head is spinning. So that isn't very relaxing. That's the opposite. So, of course, I've never had that experience.
No, you just heard about that, right?
Yeah, I just heard about it.
Did you listen to received? No.
Oh, okay. Another thing to do is investigate possible food allergies. We mentioned that earlier. Try a detox or cleanse 2 to 4 times a year. Some people say you should cleanse once a quarter. I know a lot of people will cleanse at least once a year, the first of the year after the holidays, because we all know we eat too much of the wrong stuff during the holidays.
And that's so much more well known, detoxing yourself, and again, Dr. Ariazo will be on the show that's on January 28th with his fabulous detox products, the True to Life stuff that's alkalinizing. So check back with that. If you want to do a detox or you're interested in learning more about that, come back for that show. That'll be a good one.
Yes, it will. It'll be excellent. Drink 8 to 10 8-ounce glasses of filtered water per day. And take the 90 essential nutrients every day to nourish your cells. I mean, Becky and I have been talking about the 90 essential nutrients since we started the show, and cellular health, because that's where it's at. You've got to have cellular health, and the cells need those 90 essential nutrients, including the magnesium. There is, if you're on our Nutrition Health Connection page, there is a button. Well, there's a button down below if you're watching on our 22S app on our Nutrition Health page. There's a button down below that says Critical Nutrients, but there's also a Critical Nutrients button right underneath the cover banner at the top of the page, and that'll take you to information about the critical nutrients.
And there's also a button on the left side, one of our blue buttons. If you are interested in trying the Pollen Burst or finding out more information about the Pollen Burst, which is a totally nutrient-based natural energy drink, it is fabulous. I drink it every day, including this morning. It's awesome. There's a button for that, so you can click on that too and find out more about that too.
Yes. Yeah, Pollen Burst is an excellent high nutrient.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And it's not bee pollen, it's plant pollen, which is different.
It's flowers. And it's great for kids' sports stuff. So is the Rebound. It's good too. My son likes to Rebound, but my daughter, who's 11, loves the Pollen Burst too. And it's just so versatile, and it comes in a little stick pack, super easy. Throw in your purse, throw in your car, throw in your whatever briefcase, and take it around with you. And it's fabulous. I love that stuff. It's one of my favorite things I've ever found. I love that stuff. Can you tell?
Yeah, really. No, Becky doesn't like it at all. And incorporate physical activity into every day. So I think that's the end of my slideshow.
Get up here.
Let me get back. Oh. Now it's going to hang me up. Oops. Am I still there? Oh, there we are. Oh, it just took a moment.
There you are.
Yeah, we're back on. Hi.
Yeah, hi.
We're not just a screen with words.
Yeah, we could hear you, but you went somewhere. Yeah, this was such an important, good show because everybody's always saying, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so exhausted," and there is a lot of things that we can do. There's a lot of things that we can do for ourselves, and so it's so nice because it does increase your quality of life. If you can have more energy and, to go do things with your kids, with your family, or be more productive on your job, or whatever the thing is, it's good. It's really good. Have enough energy to go around. It's a challenge sometimes.
Exactly. Well, we went a little long today, but I think it was well worth it. We had a lot to share on energy. Once we got into it, there was so much good information to pass along to you. So we
Yep.
went a little
And
long.
we'll be back next Wednesday, of course, 11 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Central. We really appreciate you guys coming back and watching our show. Please put a comment or questions down below in the chat box. We love that. Ask us for different topics you want us to cover throughout 2015. We have an awesome lineup for January and shows coming. But of course, we don't have we have plenty of room for suggestions if you're looking for something specific. We love doing this for you guys. It's super awesome and fun. And the feedback's been fabulous, and we really appreciate the support, everybody. Thank you so much. And we will see you Wednesday.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for watching this week's show. Be sure to join us next week when we reveal more hidden facts of the Nutrition Health Connection for you.